Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So, I'm here with one of my top students. His name is Mitchell. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Obviously, he'll let you guys know his whole story in terms of like from when he started learning from me to pretty much how he became to where he's at now, to where you quit your full-time job as an engineer to become a full-time professional day trader. So, Mitchell, we started interacting more in December when he actually became FTMO's top payout, and that's when Day Trading Institution first launched. But you say you've been learning from me for quite some time now, about a year, right?
Yeah, about a year, including the free content that you've got on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so started kind of being in chat there since he was December's FTMO highest paid trader. Then, you know, I saw him on the Day Trading Institution in the chat and everything else, interacting with everybody else with everything going on. And then one day he hit me with the amazing news that he is now a full-time trader. So I'm gonna let Mitchell introduce himself and give you guys a little bit more of his story and his background to pretty much how we got today. So, where are you from, bro?
Yeah, so my name's Mitchell, I'm from the UK. I've been trading, I started trading in 2015. I was on and off for around 2 years. I ended up quitting the first time, and then I got back into trading when COVID came around. So then started taking it a lot more seriously, seeing way more potential second time around, and then started getting into your content, and then seeing that you came out with Day Trading Institution, and then just joined the team.
Yeah, so how's been your experience so far day trading? You know, how would you say it compares to like anything else you've ever done in terms of like income making and just anything in general?
It's pretty crazy because, you know, alongside initially I was working towards the electrical engineering career, and traditionally you'd look at that role and you'd think, yeah, that's a great career to have, good salary, but then the day trading side of things is limitless.
Facts.
And that's really where, when I started seeing days where I'm getting paid more than a monthly salary, it starts to hit you and reality comes in. So.
Facts. Because if you don't mind sharing with the audience, you said you were making how much as an engineer every year?
Mid-30s, about 35k a year.
And imagine, you made literally half your yearly salary in a single month.
Yep.
And the best part about it was none of it was even your own capital.
Facts.
So it was theoretically like all free.
Correct.
Because you get your refund back from the funded platform, obviously, and then all the money you make on your funded account.
Yeah.
So you literally made half your yearly salary in a single month, 30 days, practically for free, just leveraging your skill set.
Exactly.
Which is, I would say, a blessing in itself, because I mean, at the end of the day, right, a lot of people aren't going to be able to make it in this industry, and you're one of the ones who's actually pulling money out of the markets, right? And you really have to like pat yourself on the back, because I know how hard it is to make money in the markets, and definitely it's a journey. It's not something that's very easily done, like a lot of people like to claim that it is online. And again, like the fact that you were able to make like 50% of what you made at your traditional job in the span of a few weeks is absolutely mind-boggling. Like, I don't know if some people really process that, because you know you trade from home.
Yeah.
So you're telling me like your regular 9-to-5 job, whatever that paid you, you made half of what you would have made in a year, probably in your underwear.
Exactly.
You know? Literally. That's
I've not had to talk to anyone. I've not had to report to anyone. All it's down to you is putting in the effort, learning the skill set, and then reaping the rewards of the charts.
That's it.
From home.
That's it. So how would you say like your trading methodology is? What got you to the point where you are today, and how are you going to maintain yourself here and take yourself to the next level?
Yeah. So really, when I started, I was only focusing on one pillar to trading, and that was the strategy side of things. Where it started changing for me was when I kind of seen it as three separate pillars: strategy, risk management, and psychology. And moving forward to strengthen the skill set, I'm trying to just do something every single day that contributes towards strengthening one of them three pillars. And I think as long as people do that, they can be successful in trading.
For sure, because you're going to make progress regardless. Like, something I always say is technical analysis is a skill that can be improved on over a period of time. But if you're putting all your effort towards technical analysis, it's going to delay your learning curve, because then you're going to have to put your skill and effort into risk management and then discipline and everything else that comes along with trading. It's not just like technical analysis. You have your risk management, you have psychology that everybody has to focus on. So like, just like you said, if you can put effort towards one thing every single day, you're going to improve over the span of time. And really at the end of the day, I feel like what separates most people from trading is that they see trading as like their all, right? This is what I'm gonna put all of my energy and effort to, and really those are the people that can really be pushed and actually make it into trading, no matter how long it takes, you know, because it could take, took you 2 years, could take somebody else 6-7 years.
Yeah, there's a learning curve that comes as part of trading, and for everyone, the learning curve, the size of the learning curve and how long it takes is completely different.
For sure.
Depending on each individual.
For sure.
And their situation, so.
Yeah, 100%. And what are you gonna try and do to take yourself to the next level now?
The next level for me really is about getting more capital to scale the trading moving forward, in order to just keep hitting my goals moving forward. So yeah.
So I know a lot of people are going to have this question. How would you say you prepared yourself to transition into being a full-time trader? Did you say, did you look at like your monthly P&L, whatever the case might be, or your quarterly P&L, and be like, hey, you know, I made more than what I made at my job, fuck it, I'm quitting? Or did you actually plan it out like, hey, you know, I need to make X amount of income to cover my expenses for at least X amount of time before I decide to actually go full-time? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's really important to firstly understand that, you know, you need to be consistent at the end of the day, and you need to look at previous results at an average over the space of, let's say, a quarter, to be able to kind of forecast, am I going to be able to, you know, cover my monthly expenses at the end of the month? But then also having enough money behind you so you're comfortable and you're not living paycheck to paycheck straight away.
Facts.
Because that will ultimately just increase the emotional side of trading.
For sure.
And you'll end up over trading, over leveraging, over position sizing, and yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like for those of you guys who watch like the Set Forget podcast and you watch the podcast, one thing that we discussed on the actual podcast itself is like, you need to have reserves.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what field you're in, let's say you make, I don't know, 40,000 a year working at a bank, whatever the case might be is, right? You definitely want to cover at least, you know, 12 months of your income, so then you could just fully rely on trading and not rely on trading literally being what's feeding your expenses right at the moment or right away, right? It's a lot better to have those reserves to cover your bills, to then not have to rely fully on 100%, you know, your trading income, because you already have the money backed up that's already paying for your expenses. Now, the trading income will obviously replenish that and hopefully, you know, plus more.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like every individual will do it very differently. I feel like, you know, what at least is what I tell my day trading institution students is that, like, you know, if you're gonna decide to transfer going full-time trading, first of all, you want to look at your profits for the last 3 months, and if you're profitable, okay, that's when you can first start looking into going to full-time day trading. Then after the fact, you want to at least cover whatever your monthly expenses are for the next 6 to 12 months. I think 12 months is something that would be very comfortable, because again, like, you'd be removing as much emotion from trading as possible. Once you have that covered and you have the right size trading account, you know, to continue to cover your living costs, then, you know, I feel like, you know, you should pull the trigger. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like nowadays, like especially with all the online prop firms, right? The capital is not the problem. Because if you're a trader who could cover 10% a month, let's just say, I feel like 10% is a very reasonable number. It's very reasonable, very conservative. You know, you're looking at 100 to 120% a year. Let's say you have 3 losing months, right, out of the entire year, right? You're still looking at, let's say, 90-ish% gain at the end of the year. And, you know, you can go get an account on FTMO or any other funded platform. Let's say FTMO is 400K at most, I believe. You make 40 or you make 90% a year, you made almost $400,000 trading.
Exactly.
You know? So I feel like 10% is a very reasonable number. And even then, like, you go grab a 400K FTMO account, you make 10%, you just made 40 grand. Let's just say after the profit split, you're looking at 30-ish thousand, then whatever you want to set aside for taxes or whatever you have to pay for taxes, depending, obviously, because your country's different, the United States is different. You know, you're looking at, let's just say, a net of 25,000, 20,000 at the end of the month. I feel like you can have a very nice living at $20,000 a month.
Exactly.
even then, like, not even just as a trader, but overall, like, you could use your trading profits to start other businesses. You could use your trading profits to reinvest in other areas. So let's just say your monthly expenses are, let's put it pretty high, like at $10,000 a month you're spending every single month because that's what it costs you to live, right? You still have a net of like 12,000, let's say, after taxes. And for that money, you could just reinvest it however you want. I mean, everybody's gonna have their own personal finance, you know. But I feel like it's something that's very doable nowadays because the capital is something that's so obtainable. Yeah. Right? You can go get, again, 400K on FTMO, another 600K on like my Forex funds, whatever the case might be. As you look at it, you're managing, although you're managing 2 different accounts, altogether you're managing $1 million. Yeah. Right? You make 10% on this account, 10% on that account, put it together, you made 10% on $1 million, and now you're making like 100 grand a month trading. So, you know, it's definitely a very that's definitely life-changing income for a lot of people.
100%, and a lot of people also don't understand that there are companies out there that as long as you obtain the skill of trading, because a lot of people get into trading trying to make a lot of money real quick.
For sure.
And when they don't have a lot of money, they end up over-leveraging and over-position size, and then they're blowing up, right? Yeah. So I think most people need to understand that there are companies out there, like FTMO for example, like FMS, that will fund you if you have the skill.
100%.
So people, I think it's a really exciting thing, and this innovation it's only come around quite recently.
I feel so, yeah.
Over the space of the last couple of years.
Yeah, because definitely when I started trading, I didn't, even though I believe FTMO was already out, they were probably just brand new. I think FTMO's been open like for 6 years, something along those lines. I've never heard of FTMO until like the last 2 years, right? And I feel like I was definitely one of those people to help push, you know, the funded prop firm space into what it is nowadays. Because I remember, you know, a few years ago when I started telling my students about like, oh, you know, go with these funded companies, FTMO, this and that, I was getting hated on for, you know, promoting these funded companies to people when it should be like, oh, you know, you're a trader, but you're not trading your own capital, this and that. It's kind of like, it's here, the funded companies are here for helping traders with the opportunity to trade more capital. Yeah. Right? If I could see that, you know, my students could benefit off of this, of course I'm going to help push this product, of course I'm going to help promote it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And,
you know,
and also the biggest thing that beginner traders fail is undercapitalization.
For sure.
And that's ultimately what these prop firms are solving. The problem of undercapitalization. So people, you know, the capital is out there. The capital is out there.
100%. Like, there's no excuse nowadays because, like, oh yeah, sure, not everybody is going to be able to put $35,000 into a trading account. You know what I mean? That's why the stock market has their PDT rule, where you need to trade a minimum of $25,000-$30,000 before you start following all these other extra regulations where you can only trade 3 times a week, whatever the case might be. It's with the stock market, right? With this market, or with this industry nowadays, pay $600 and you have access to a $100,000 trading account. Yeah, you know what I mean? Imagine you make 10% on a $100,000 trading account, you just made $10,000.
It is crazy. And like you said, you can then go and reinvest it in other businesses that produce cash flow. So it gives you more sense of security.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Yeah, exactly. Whilst also having that capital there to make money on a day-to-day basis.
100%. I mean, I feel like nowadays, like, even though people still have the access to these funded companies, they just try and rush the process, which is another big reason why I feel people fail. It's because they try and rush it. They just want to be consistently profitable off the bat. It just doesn't work that way. You really do need to take your time and kind of like almost just set and forget in terms of like trading. Like, you need to take it, you know, day by day, month by month, and then year by year. And for me, I don't know about you and your journey, but for me, you know, I've been already trading for the last 6 years. I look back at it and I remember just trading, you know, like just starting trading like it was yesterday. I remember downloading MetaTrader 4. I remember literally installing the indicators, installing the templates. I remember everything. But then fast forward, it's, you know, 6 years later, and, you know, I built all this for myself. I don't know if that's kind of the same for you and your journey.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's all about building growth and sustainable growth as well at the same time. And that's what security brings you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like trading is a journey, exactly what you said. Like, there's no cap on your income. Like, I just had my first $100,000 trading day only I think it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
First 100K day. And I remember trading, you know, way back then when I only had like $500 in my trading account. It's like, damn, you know, one day I'll be able to make 100K in a single day, right? And the thing about it is like, I've had 100K weeks, you know, I've had 100K months, right? But nothing hit the same other than that 100K day. Because the fact that it's like, I made 6 figures in a single day. The trade was like 12, 16 hours, but all I did was push a button.
Yeah.
And by the end of the 16 hours, I had an extra $100,000 to my name.
And it wasn't that, I mean, it must have been about a year ago. I remember I was at home and I was thinking, if I can just make 100 a day, that's just the average, like, that's just a good goal to hit anyway for like the average person. And then you hit 100 a day and it's like, I really want to make that 1,000 a day.
Yeah.
And then you hit the 1,000 and then
you
recently,
get desensitized.
Yeah. And then I think it was January, I had my first 5-figure day, which was, that was completely a completely different feeling.
100%.
And I can only imagine what the 6-figure day feels like. That's crazy.
100%. I feel like as you level up, you know, you just get desensitized to like the smaller numbers. Because I remember it being in the same position. Damn, my first $1,000 day. Damn, my first $10,000 day. And my first $25,000 day. And as you level up, it's like 10 grand, all right, here you go. You know, 10 grand is relatively not what you're typically used to. Like the bigger numbers, as you level up, the bigger numbers just become more and more normal, right? Like nowadays, it's kind of like, okay, if I go below $10,000 in a club on Friday nights, like, all right, cool. You know, hopefully this week, if it's a good week trading, I'll make triple that. You know what I mean? Because it's literally like once you level up, right? Like depending on the type of income you're making, right? 10,000, 15,000 spending is still like below your living needs, right? It doesn't become like a lot of money. You have no problem like losing this, or you know, no problem reinvesting into this. You know, it's just different levels to it in life, really. Basically, spending money on a watch. You know what I mean? Spending money on other things because you know you can make that money back. Right. Plus, way more.
And you're putting the money into assets. You know, watches.
Facts.
Watch collection, assets.
Facts.
Cars, assets. And sometimes a lot of people might see cars and watches as liabilities, but you buy the right ones and they're not.
For sure, 100%. Like, I feel like the SVJ was probably one of like my craziest purchases. And obviously it took a combination of luck, but at the same time it also took me like the building of the capital to be able to afford it. Right, so I bought the SVJ for $680,000. I remember, I definitely won't forget this. Literally a few weeks ago, I got offered $999,000 for my same car that I bought for $680K. So this entire time, I could have been driving around this Lamborghini completely for free, not even getting paid to drive this Lamborghini, right? And it's just about like reinvesting and really just doing what you want with your money, because at the end of the day, like, trading is a great foundation for you to reinvest into other things, other assets, other businesses, whatever you really want to invest to. And it can literally all start from trading. And then, you know, you expand and you grow as an individual.
Exactly.
So what are your goals now? What do you plan on doing next? Because I feel like you hit like the biggest goal, is coming full-time trading. Right?
Full-time trading was a very big goal. And initially, it didn't start off as much of a big goal as it progressed to. Really, and it was as soon as I started seeing consistency, I started seeing the more potential, and then I was like, well, God, imagine doing this full time. It'd just be absolutely crazy. And you know, now I'm here. You've invited me out here, and this is all going full time and putting in the work. But now it's about building assets mainly. You know, like you said, trading is a very active thing. You need to show up every single day, do the right things, and then make the money.
Facts.
But then also you need to use that money and utilize it and put it into assets that provide that cash flow for security. So that's mainly my goal moving forward. Also, 6-figure day. That would be absolutely incredible.
For sure.
So let's fast forward a year from now, maybe, and see where we end up.
Listen, a lot of growth can happen in a year. I can tell you that from experience. You know, a lot of my close friends and family will tell you, you could grow like crazy in the span of a year, span of 2 years. Because literally 2 years ago, I was living in an apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fast forward 2 years later, you know, right now we're in my second 5-bedroom house. So a lot of growth can happen in the span of a few years.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And the thing about it is like, everything will happen so fast, it's like you blink and you just fast forward it. Right, then you look back, it's like, damn, wow, like, you know, the level up has been crazy. It's just because you're just so focused on, you know, your goals, you're so focused on growing, like, you don't realize how fast time is flying by.
Yeah, and I really like the Lamborghini as well. I
sure.
after being for a ride in the SVJ, absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
Urus, incredible cars.
Yeah, bro.
Being here is definitely, it's inspired me so much, just seeing a completely different side to life, what you usually see, so.
Yeah, because I definitely like, from what you see online, for sure doesn't hit it, for sure does not hit the same as in person, for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah, from picking you up one day in the Rolls Royce to the next day picking you up in a Urus, like.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine, because I mean, I live it, so it's very normal for me, but from you seeing it online to really seeing in person, like, damn, this kid really does live like this.
Exactly.
It's probably very shocking.
Yeah.
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 It's like I said, bro, it's literally all about the level up. It's all about the level up, because everybody starts in like the same position when it comes down to trading, right? You know completely nothing, you have $0 in your trading account, and you just gotta get to the point where you want to be in life.
Yeah.
And I always had like that 5-year goal in mind. It's like, damn, you know, if I stick to this and I do this every single day and I put all my effort at work, maybe the next 5 years, right? Literally 5 years ago, I was already a year in to trading, and this is everything I've accomplished is everything I've ever envisioned. Like nothing I haven't envisioned, I did not accomplish. I've literally accomplished every single thing, and that's part of instilling that into your mindset. Because if you don't truly believe in yourself, you don't truly believe you're gonna make it, then you know you're most likely not going to. You have to literally convince yourself and talk to yourself every day. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do no matter what it takes to make it.
And that's confidence. That's not having any self-doubt. That's being completely confident in whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And you know, setting them little goals every month, every quarter, every year would compound into big things like this.
For sure. It literally starts off with the little goals. You start here, complete level 1, you move up to level 2. Complete level 2, move up to level 3. You just, again, it's the level up. You know, it's literally all it takes. So all you gotta be, you just gotta take yourself no matter what to where you wanna be. You gotta do anything possible to get yourself there. Yeah. So, how was your experience in Miami so far?
Miami's crazy.
What were your expectations versus the reality that you were met with?
I don't even know what I was expecting. It's just been more than I've expected. I know that. I know that for sure. You know, just by walking out the airport, seeing the Euro, seeing you pull up, meeting you in person is crazy. You know, someone who's inspired the journey kind of so much, and getting to meet you in person and spend a week with you, it's just crazy. The cars, seeing it all in the flesh, you know, feeling the leather on the seats, it all adds to that kind of like imagination perspective, which then can translate into, I can see this happening in real life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What advice would you give people that are just starting and want to be full-time traders?
So that's a really good question actually, because there's so many different things that I would tell my beginner self starting out trading. And for me, one of the biggest things was the trading personality. Now, when I started, and the reason why the name's Mitchell Stocks is because I initially started trading stocks, right? And I was scalping stocks. And that was a very aggressive strategy for me in the beginning, especially being a beginner trader. You come in with all these emotions and you want to make a lot of money. So when you're scalping, like the way I was, like 30 seconds in and out, full account size, it was so dangerous. It was an adrenaline rush and it just wasn't right for me. And when I stepped back and just understood a bit more about my personality, well, I'm going to have to calm down a little bit, be a bit more conservative. And then obviously, like all the FCMO stuff with the risk management, it really did instill discipline, being more conservative, and just understanding myself a lot better. So yeah, one of the biggest things, understanding trading personality.
For sure. I feel like people focus on like strategy way too much instead of focusing on themselves.
Risk management and psychology. Yeah, understanding your own emotions, understanding your own risk tolerance as well. And that's very important because a lot of people, well, some people might be able to tolerate more risk than others.
For sure.
And that's ultimately what brings the emotions into trading as well.
For sure. And that's where the learning curve begins. It's trying to find that median of your trading methodology. Because first, you got to find how you're going to trade, what time frames you're going to trade, what assets you're going to trade. Then you got to find out how to be able to balance your emotions and how to really keep those emotions at bay while you're trading, and all that comes through literally risk management and what your risk tolerance actually is. Because let's just say, right, you give two individuals $50,000 account. One individual will be perfectly fine risking $2,500 in the account, while the other individual may not even be able to risk $500 on that account.
Yeah,
it all depends on the person.
Yeah, and a lot of people can't comprehend certain numbers as well.
For sure.
I mean, you give someone a 100k account or a 50k account or whatever, the numbers they're going to see on the screen, they genuinely can't comprehend. So it's important to start off small and scale up. Not start off big, lose it, risk too much over position size, and then damage your psychology and confidence, which ultimately leads to quitting. So
100%.
yeah, start off small, scale up,
100%.
and set goals.
Again, it's all about the level up.
Exactly.